Have you ever wondered how an alliance between one of Rome's greatest dictators and Egypt's most powerful queen could transform the history of the Roman Empire forever? Today, we're going to reveal the incredible union between Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, a partnership that redefined the fate of the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. If you're passionate about the history of Rome, the Roman Senate, and the rise of Julius Caesar, get ready for a journey full of intrigue, epic battles, and political strategies that shaped ancient Rome as we know it. But before we dive into this fascinating story, make sure you're already subscribed to the channel and leave the bell activated so you don't miss any of our videos full of historical curiosities about the Roman Empire. The meeting of giants. Picture the scene. Rome, at the height of its power, and Egypt, one of the richest and most influential kingdoms in the ancient world. Julius Caesar, known for his brilliant military campaigns and for consolidating power in Rome, comes face to face with Cleopatra, one of the most intelligent and charismatic women who ever lived. This encounter was not just a meeting of strong personalities, but the beginning of an alliance that would shape the history of both empires. Now let's find out how this meeting transformed the fate of Rome and Egypt. So let's continue our journey through history. Rome in conflict, the persecution of Pompey. In the year 48 BC, Rome was embroiled in a civil war. Julius Caesar, determined to consolidate his power, pursued his mortal enemy, Pompey the Great. The pursuit led Caesar to Alexandria, the vibrant capital of Egypt, where Pompey sought refuge and support. The city, known for its grandeur and cultural importance, became the stage for one of the most decisive moments in Roman history. Walking through the streets of Rome, the tension between Caesar and Pompey was palpable. Pompey, despite his greatness as a general, was struggling to maintain his power base against Caesar's ruthless ambition. The persecution culminated in Alexandria, a city that symbolized the meeting between West and East, between Rome and Egypt. Can you imagine the tension of such an intense military persecution? Leave your like now so we can keep bringing you impactful stories like this one. Alexandria, the heart of Egyptian power. Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great, was a true center of knowledge and power. The famous Library of Alexandria symbolized the pinnacle of culture and science in the ancient world. However, behind its glittering facade, the city was also a political and military battleground. Caesar's presence in Alexandria not only represented a military threat, but also an opportunity for significant political change in Egypt. Alexandria was more than a city. It was a symbol of the fusion of different cultures and knowledge. The Library of Alexandria attracted scholars from all over the world, making the city a melting pot of ideas and innovations. However, political instability and power struggles made it a breeding ground for internal and external conflicts. But how exactly did the power dynamics in Alexandria influence the events that followed? Let's explore that now. Ptolemy XIII and the fall of the alliance with Pompey. Pharaoh Ptolemy XIII, initially allied with Pompey, began to see the tide of war turning in his favor. With Pompey's defeats piling up, Ptolemy decided to decline his alliance, looking for a new strategy to maintain his power in Egypt. This change of allegiance created a new power dynamic, placing Ptolemy in a delicate position vis-à-vis Caesar and Roman ambitions. Ptolemy XIII, young and inexperienced, faced internal and external pressures. His alliance with Pompey aimed to maintain stability in Egypt. But as Pompey's defeats became inevitable, Ptolemy realized that he needed to adapt his strategy to preserve his throne and the integrity of Egypt. Ptolemy XIII made a risky decision. What do you think motivated this change of allegiance? Comment below. Portino, the ambitious Corregent, Next to Ptolemy XIII was Portino, an ambitious and influential co-regent of Egypt. Portino not only administered the lands, but also harbored secret ambitions to rule Egypt. Fearing that Pompey's defeat would damage the Egyptian lands, Portino saw an opportunity to consolidate his own power. His ambition led him to make decisions that would alter the course of history. Portino, with his strategic vision and political skills, understood that instability could be both a threat and an opportunity. He realized that by allying himself more closely with Rome, he could secure his position and influence Egypt's political future in his favor. Portino believed he was doing the right thing. Do you agree with his actions? Leave your opinion in the comments. Portino's decision, betrayal and consequences. In a seemingly act of goodwill, Portino decided to hand over Pompey's decapitated head to Caesar. This gesture, intended to show loyalty to Rome, was actually a strategic move to prove that Egypt was now allied with Caesar. However, Caesar's reaction to this act would be surprising and reveal a leader with an unusual sense of honor for his time. Portino hoped that this display of loyalty would solidify his alliance with Rome and guarantee him imperial favor. But what he didn't foresee was the depth of respect Caesar had for Pompey, his former friend and rival. Portino hoped to strengthen his position with Rome. Do you think he underestimated Caesar? Leave a like if you like this story. Caesar's respect for honor. Contrary to expectations, Caesar was deeply saddened when he received Pompey's head. He considered the death of his former friend and adversary to be unworthy and dishonorable. Demonstrating a code of honor rare among leaders of his magnitude, Caesar ordered that Pompey be honored with a dignified Roman funeral, a gesture that not only surprised those present, but also altered the Roman perception of him. Caesar saw Pompey not just as an enemy, but as a compatriot and a worthy adversary. This mutual respect, even in times of conflict, highlighted the complexity of political and personal relationships in ancient Rome. This act of honor had profound repercussions. Let's see how it affected Ptolemy XIII and Cleopatra. Ptolemy XIII, the exiled ruler. After Pompey's death, Ptolemy XIII, influenced by Portinus and his thirst for power, took drastic measures to consolidate his rule. He exiled his sister Cleopatra to Syria in an attempt to eliminate any threat to his throne. This action not only increased tension within Egypt, but also prepared the ground for an even deeper Roman intervention. Cleopatra, intelligent and ambitious, was unwilling to accept exile without a fight. Her vision of a strong and independent Egypt would lead her to seek new alliances and strategies to regain her place on the throne and secure the future of her kingdom. Sibling rivalry for power is a classic plot. How do you think Cleopatra would react to this exile? Share your views in the comments. The alliance with Rome, mediating Egyptian royalty. Faced with instability in Egypt, Ptolemy XIII formed an alliance with Rome under Caesar's consulship. Feeling compelled to intervene, Caesar ordered Cleopatra to return from exile to share power in Egypt. This Roman intervention was crucial in establishing a new political order in Egypt, where Rome's influence would become increasingly evident. Caesar, realizing the potential for influence and the strategic importance of Egypt, saw the alliance with Cleopatra as an opportunity to strengthen his position and secure control over one of the richest and most vital regions of the ancient world. Caesar's intervention brought new power dynamics. Do you think this alliance was inevitable? Let's find out more about this part of history. Cleopatra and Caesar, a strategic alliance? Cleopatra, with her keen intelligence and irresistible charm, made a strategic alliance with Caesar. She promised to support him in his endeavors, thus strengthening her own position on the Egyptian throne. This alliance not only guaranteed Roman influence in Egypt, but also initiated a personal relationship that would be fundamental for future political and military alliances. Cleopatra knew that in order to maintain her power and ensure Egypt's prosperity, she needed strong allies. Her partnership with Caesar was more than just a political alliance. It was a union that combined Roman military power with Egyptian diplomatic cunning. The union between Cleopatra and Caesar was both political and personal. What do you think brought them together besides strategy? Leave a like if you like this story. Caesar's demands, debt, and diplomacy. To consolidate his influence in Egypt, Caesar demanded the payment of 10 million denarii, an old debt owed by Ptolemy XII's father. Furthermore, in a diplomatic move, Caesar restored Cyprus, which had been annexed by Rome in the year 58, returning it to the Egyptian government. These acts not only demonstrated Roman power, but also reinforced Egypt's economic and political dependence on Rome. Caesar's economic and diplomatic demands were key to ensuring that Egypt remained aligned with Roman interests. The restoration of Cyprus, for example, not only stabilized the region, but also strengthened commercial and military ties between Rome and Egypt. But Roman control did not come without challenges. Let's meet the new characters that emerged in this plot. Arsinoe and Ganymede, the new challenges. Egyptian politics, always complex and full of intrigue, saw the departure of Arsinoe from Cyprus, along with his mentor, Ganymede. This action not only further complicated relations between Rome and Egypt, but also introduced new military and political challenges. Arsinoe, with her cunning and ambition, was determined to secure her own power, even in the face of Roman maneuvers. Arsinoe, Ptolemy XIII's sister, found herself in a position where she had to act to protect her interests and those of Egypt. With Ganymede at her side, she devised strategies that not only challenged Caesar's authority, but also sought to re-establish Egyptian independence. With so many influential characters at play, how do you think Arsinoe would influence the future of Egypt? Comment below. The crisis in Alexandria, Portinus against Caesar. Portinus, driven by his ambition, summoned an army of 20,000 men to attack Alexandria, triggering a crisis that led to intense battles throughout the city. The struggle for control of Alexandria was fierce, with fires threatening the famous Library of Alexandria and the streets being turned into battlefields. Against this chaotic backdrop, Cleopatra hid in the royal quarter, where her relationship with Caesar began to develop. The battle in Alexandria was a litmus test for the alliance between Caesar and Cleopatra. While Portino's troops sought to take control of the city, Cleopatra took the opportunity to strengthen her alliance with Caesar, securing crucial military and strategic support to face internal challenges. The battle for Alexandria was a critical moment. Can you imagine the intensity of this conflict? Leave a like if you're enjoying the story. Love and War, Cleopatra and Caesar. During the siege of Alexandria, Cleopatra hid in the royal quarter and became Caesar's lover. This personal relationship not only strengthened their political alliance, but also brought new challenges and dangers. The union of Cleopatra and Caesar represented a powerful combination of intelligence, charm, and military power, capable of profoundly influencing the fate of Egypt and Rome. The relationship between Cleopatra and Caesar was a fusion of power and passion. Cleopatra used her influence to secure Caesar's military and political support, while he, in turn, protected her interests in Egypt. This alliance not only solidified their position, but also left a lasting legacy in history. The love between Cleopatra and Caesar was as strategic as it was personal. Do you think this relationship was essential to their victory? Comment below. The Rise of Arsino IV. After discovering Portino's treachery, Caesar ordered his execution. However, this didn't stop Arsinoe IV and her ally Ganymede from taking command of the Egyptian army. Arsinoe proclaimed herself queen, taking the name Arsinoe IV, and placed Ganymede as her second-in-command. This seizure of power directly challenged Roman influence and placed Egypt in a new scenario of internal conflict. Arsinoe IV, determined not to give in to Roman control, led a fierce resistance. His ability to inspire and organize troops was key to prolonging the struggle against Roman domination, demonstrating that Egypt still had strong leaders willing to fight for its independence. Arsinoe IV was a resilient leader. Do you think she could have changed the course of Egyptian history? Leave a like and share your opinion. The naval battle, Caesar's supremacy. In a decisive confrontation at sea, Caesar's naval superiority prevailed. The battle for Alexandria's lighthouse island was crucial to securing strategic control over Egyptian ports. Roman naval skill, combined with Caesar's innovative tactics, secured his dominant position in the region, significantly weakening the resistance of Arsinoe and his allies. The naval battle was a clear demonstration of Roman supremacy at sea. Caesar's tactics, which included the use of faster and better armed ships, enabled him to defeat Arsinoe's forces, thus consolidating Roman control over Egypt's vital ports and limiting the Queen's ability to resist. Naval supremacy was a turning point in the war. What do you think would have happened if Arsinoe had won this battle? Leave a like and share your opinion. The fall of Ptolemy XIII. After months of incessant battles and betrayals, Ptolemy XIII finally faced his defeat. Caesar, consolidating his rule over Egypt, placed Cleopatra and her brother Ptolemy XIV on the throne. This change of leadership marked the beginning of a new era for Egypt, now firmly under Roman influence, but still retaining its rich cultural and historical heritage. With the fall of Ptolemy XIII, Cleopatra emerged as the main ruler of Egypt, alongside her young brother. This new leadership not only ensured stability in the kingdom, but also established a symbiotic relationship between Rome and Egypt, where both empires benefited from each other. With the fall of Ptolemy XIII, the history of Egypt was about to enter a new chapter. Let's see how this was celebrated in Rome. The triumph in Rome, glory and conquest. Returning to Rome, Caesar was celebrated with a great triumph, symbolizing not only his military victory, but also his even greater ascension as Rome's supreme leader. Cleopatra, although a foreigner, was recognized as the new Queen of Egypt, further strengthening the alliance between Rome and Egypt. This triumph was a clear demonstration of Caesar's power and influence, consolidating his legacy in Roman history. Roman triumphs were spectacular events, marked by military parades, displays of conquered treasures, and public tributes to the victorious leaders. Caesar's triumph not only celebrated his victory in Egypt, but also reinforced his image as an invincible and charismatic leader. Roman triumphs were spectacular events. Would you like to take part in one? Leave a comment if you think this story is amazing. Arsinoe in Rome. From the throne to the temple, Arsinoe, captured and taken to Rome, faced a tragic fate. Initially spared and granted a job at the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus, she lived there for a few years. However, tension with her sister Cleopatra persisted. In the year 41 BC, by order of Mark Antony and under pressure from Cleopatra, Arsinoe was executed on the steps of the temple, ending her turbulent journey of power and intrigue. Arsinoe's life in Rome was marked by isolation and constant surveillance. Although she was initially spared, Cleopatra's growing influence and the complex political dynamics led to a tragic outcome. Her execution not only marked the end of a rivalry, but also highlighted the dangers of political intrigue in ancient Rome. Arsinoe's story is a lesson in power and rivalry. Do you think she deserved this fate? Share your opinion in the comments. The legacy of Caesar and Cleopatra, a new world. The alliance between Caesar and Cleopatra not only changed the fate of Egypt and Rome, but also left a lasting legacy that would influence history for centuries to come. This strategic and personal partnership shaped the ancient world in profound and unforgettable ways, demonstrating how visionary leaders can transform entire nations and leave their mark on history. The influence of Caesar and Cleopatra can be seen in many areas, from art and culture to politics and military strategy. Egypt continued to be an important cultural center under Roman influence, while Rome benefited from Egypt's wealth and knowledge, creating a synergy that strengthened both empires. If you're enjoying this epic story, don't forget to leave your like and share this video with your history-loving friends. The strength of the alliance and its lasting impact. The story of Caesar and Cleopatra is a testament to the power of strategic alliances and complex political dynamics. Their union not only consolidated Roman rule in Egypt, but also left an indelible mark on world history. This partnership showed how visionary leaders can shape the destiny of entire nations, leaving a legacy that resonates to this day. As we reflect on this alliance, we realize how political decisions and personal relationships can have far-reaching consequences. Caesar and Cleopatra not only ruled together, but also created a narrative that inspires future generations about leadership, strategy, and power. If you enjoyed this journey through time and want more fascinating stories, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next chapter on the Roman Empire.